Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, the weekly podcast devoted to all things spirituality and self-improvement. I am so delighted you're here with me today. Today I want to talk about how to see life as a gift again. Life can be so tough and we go through so many different obstacles. And sometimes when we're going through all of these difficult times, we feel like we're being punished. And some of us may feel like, I don't want to be here. I see this all over social media, people commenting how they hate it here. It's so hard to be here. And I understand that. But life is a gift. I was listening to a podcast and they had a man on the podcast who had a near-death experience. He actually lost his wife and child in a car accident. They were in the car, they were driving home, I guess. They were visiting family. And I think it was only a 5-hour drive, but he had fallen asleep at the wheel. He thinks that's what happened. He wasn't even really sure, but he fell asleep at the wheel, lost control of the car. And then the next thing he wakes up and they have crashed and he can hear his child screaming, but he had a baby in the car and he did not hear the baby at all. And he looked over and could see that his wife was also not moving, not screaming. So he lost his wife and his baby in that accident and also ended up having to have a leg amputated. And before all of that happened, before he came to, I think he was drifting in and out of consciousness was the story. But he had this near-death experience. And he went to the other side. He felt this loving presence. And he said he felt this extreme guilt because he knew he had fallen asleep and he had caused this accident. And this loving light, if you want to call it God, source, whatever you call it, said there is no blame. There is no fault. And he felt so at peace and loved. And there he saw his baby in the crib. But the one message that he took away from that whole experience was that he realized that life is a gift. But many of us don't see life as a gift, right? We feel like we're being punished. I got sent to this place and now I'm stuck here and I'm stuck in a job I hate. I'm stuck in this bad relationship and I really don't like it here. That is not how we were meant to live. And I am just as guilty as anyone else of allowing the negativity to come in and surrendering to it and allowing life to flow over me. I feel like if you were going to compare it to something, it would be like being in the ocean. I talk about this in my book, Beautiful Morning. And I talk in the book about how the waves of grief sometimes wash over you and you just don't even feel like you can catch your breath. And sometimes life does that to us too. Life will wash over you. And you don't have to have lost a person to feel this immense grief in life. We can grieve for all kinds of things, for not feeling like we're living the life we want to live, feeling like it should have been easier than this. We can grieve for our past, for the mistakes we made. We can beat ourselves up over and over again, and we do. We grieve for the childhood that we never got because we had to grow up so fast when we had to take care of ourselves. There are so many reasons we grieve in life, and it is a part of our everyday, daily process. It's that grief. And for some of us, it can be so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming that it feels like you can be in total darkness. But know that a little bit of that light breaks through. And Source wants you not to look at the darkness, but in the darkness, they want us to look around for the light. And for many of you, you are the light for so many people. You are the reason that so many people smile and get up and the world needs you. We look for that light, something that tells us there's more good things out there. There's more good than bad. And it's hard to see because if you look at the media, you're just going to see the bad, right? They do that for a reason because scaring you Putting fear into you sells. It sells magazines, it sells newspapers. They will hook you and you'll keep watching to see what's going to happen. You can look forward to every tragedy in life, but that really doesn't sound like fun. The universe does not want you to focus on the negative. We in our brains, in our normal human brains, think that our thoughts just come to us. Like, my thoughts just pop into my head and that's what they are, and I can't control that. That's absolutely false. We can 100% control the thoughts that pop into our head. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to pop into your head. Of course they are. But what I'm telling you is you can rewrite that narrative. It is like if you are listening to a newscast. That newscaster can read off the script, right? Oh my gosh, we're going to have a huge earthquake coming. There are tornadoes coming to the Midwest. So much gloom and doom, blah, 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 blah. They could read off that script, and of course they do. But there's nothing stopping that reporter from going off script and saying, you know what, I'd rather talk to you tonight about a positive story. They could absolutely do that. And you can absolutely flip the script in your brain to stop focusing on all of the negative things that are around you, because you can see a lot. There's a lot for you to see as evidence that the world is a negative place and it's a bad place and it's a dark place. But the truth is, it's not. We think that most people are bad and bad things are happening. That's because that is what is being shown to you. That's what the media hypes to you. The world is still a good place. There are still good people out there. There are still opportunities for you to have happiness, for you to see success and abundance and growth. You have got to learn to see life as a gift again. And I understand why you don't, if you're out there saying I don't. And some of you are saying, yeah, I do, but I do get a little down sometimes. I understand. I do too. I have to give myself a dose of reality all the time. I can very easily start to go down that road where I want to have a pity party. It happens. Something happened to me that I want to share with you. It happened yesterday. School started for me this week. And I was having a great week because I put together a new plan for my classroom. I had new expectations for my kids, and I had a way I was going to keep them accountable for them, and I was going to reward them for good behavior. And I'm so excited about all of this. And when I met my students, they had such great energy. It was awesome. I loved my classes. And then Friday mornings, last day of the week, I get to school and someone starts yelling at me for where I parked, which is where I parked for 2 years. And they're like, we're not parking here anymore. And was just really rude about it. And it took me aback because I was in a good mood. It was Friday. On the way to school, I'm singing to the music in my car and having a good morning. I've got my coffee and I get there and one person just is so mean, so rude. And it shocked me. It took me aback, right? Just didn't understand why this person was being the way they were. So I had to find a different parking spot. I was a little annoyed by that because I had never parked in this particular place and I didn't even know where to go in the building. But I found the door. It was no big deal. I went up there, but I was still it bothered me. And I went to one of my coworkers and told her what happened. And she was like, yeah, she did that to another coworker yesterday. And then talking to somebody else, she was being rude to somebody else. And at first I was just so upset by it. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not giving her any of my power. I'm not giving any of my energy to that. I could have let this ruin my entire day. I could have been crabby to my kids. I could have passed it along all day long. But I chose. And here's the difference. I chose. I had to. If I were just going with the flow and letting life wash over me like that wave, I would have been a crabby, all day long and been rude to people too. I chose not to. I chose to do the opposite. I chose to be happy in spite of what was happening around me. And I had an amazing day for the rest of the day. What I'm telling you is life is a gift. And you need to see it that way, and you need to stop letting the things around you control you. If you just go through life aimlessly and you just let things happen to you and you go, oh, that's just it. No, you are going to be miserable because it's going to knock you around like waves in the ocean, and you're just going to be going back and forth. And it doesn't really feel very good when you're just being knocked around by life. But you can do things to take control of that. You can choose to see life as a gift. And I think about the man in that story who had the near-death experience. Can you imagine the guilt he felt? And coming back to earth, having to learn how to live with life again, having an amputated leg, having to explain. And this was another very poignant part of his story where he talked about seeing his 7-year-old son again after he got home from the hospital. The son had been staying with his brother, and he was worried. He thought, I was this athletic dad who I was able to play around with him and, very physical and active and do things with him. And now I don't have a leg. And how is my son going to respond to that? And how's he going to react to that? And he was worried about it. And he said his son, when he saw him, ran past him. And he's like, oh, great, here it goes. He doesn't accept me. And he was knocking. He ran past him, knocked on the neighbors' doors, and went to all of these neighbors' houses, knocking on the doors, saying, come out, my dad's home. Come see my dad. And it just melted his heart. And in that moment, too, that he realized, okay, life is a gift. Yes, you've been dealt this horrible hand. I mean, what a horrible hand. But there are lessons in everything. And just because bad things happen to us doesn't mean that there aren't good things here. And this is not toxic positivity. I'm sitting here talking to you as a person who has had so many bad things happen. I have not gone through life unscathed, believe me. But we can either become bitter, allow that to make us hate where we are, hate our lives, feel like that is what defines us. Oh, I can't have a good life because I was abused as a child. I can't have a good life because I lost the most important person to me. I can't have a good life because I was in prison. I can't have a good life because I was an alcoholic. None of that is true. None of that defines you. We all make mistakes. We're supposed to. We came here to do that. It's what we do with our lives. It's what we do with those mistakes. Do we lay down and say, that's it, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. It's too much. Or do we take this as a challenge to see how much better I can become? I don't know about you, but if I get knocked down by a wave in the ocean, I don't stay down. Like I don't put my face down in the water and keep letting the waves roll over me. I would probably drown if I did that, right? I pick myself back up again. I get up and I face the wave. Like I don't walk with my back to it and say, okay, come and get me. I don't. I stand up, I turn around, and I face that so I know it's coming. I don't let life knock me down and let me stay down because that's just not something that I can do. I see everything as a challenge of how can I allow this to make me a better person. And you're going to have your moments where you feel sorry for yourself and where you grieve. That's normal. But you can't stay in that place because that is not a fun place to be. When you get to the other side, the universe is not going to say, well, did you enjoy all that misery? That isn't what it was about. And you're not going to remember the misery. That's not what you're going to take with you. You're going to remember the love. All of the love that you gave and that was shared with you. That's what we remember. And we're here to make those moments. And it's still possible for you. Life is still open and full of possibilities. And in fact, coming up in August on the 30th, we had this super blue moon, which is a wonderful time for manifesting. And I just did a reading on TikTok, and they're also on YouTube, where I channeled that many of you are in karmic situations, which means that you've been put in situations in order to help you learn lessons, whether it's a job or a relationship. But those situations are not making you happy. And the universe wants you to free yourself. I remember when we did, what word are you picking as your word for 2024? I picked freedom because I wanted to feel more free in my life. And in a lot of ways, that's definitely happening. And I think it's a wonderful thing, of course, to feel free from addictions, free from bad behaviors, free from the negative thinking. All of that is what I've tried to work towards, and when I say addictions, I mean, I'm really, really bad at procrastinating and also drinking too much coffee and doing some other things that aren't healthy habits for me to really be productive in a day, which happens when you're on summer break, right? It's like, oh, I just want to do all the things. So trying to be better and more living in the moment, living in the present. That is really the important thing, which I have a tendency to not, like my mind wanders off and I daydream. But I have to bring myself back down to reality sometimes, because you can allow your mind to wander and really take you to some scary places sometimes, imagining all the bad things that could happen. And instead of doing that, we want to focus on the good, right? We really want to focus on the good. And I wanted to pull some cards for you today from Angela Rose's deck to give you some guidance. And the first card that came out is perfect because I was going to talk about this. But one of the easiest ways to get yourself back from that negative attitude, negative mindset, is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest forms of self-care. It raises our vibration and shifts our energy. So one quick exercise you can do is name 3 things that make you smile. And really think about these things. Like, for example, let's say you have a puppy and your puppy is so cute and makes you smile. Really think about what your puppy looks like and how it feels whenever you're petting your puppy, and when they, I say smile, it looks like they're smiling. I don't know. When my dogs smile at me, when they wag their tail because they're so happy to see you, when you walk in and they jump right up on you. Of course, you have to teach them not to do that, but my dog still likes to try to do that. But I know she's so excited to see me. What is that like? Because that brings you joy, right? It lights you up. Make it a visceral exercise. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? And then this mantra you can say to yourself, I'm grateful for this experience. I'm full of gratefulness. I am surrounded by beauty and I am fully supported. So be grateful. Another thing to do when you get into those attitudes, and I've had to do this week, is go move, get some movement, go exercise, go take a walk. I love that because I don't know, for some reason, it really does shift your attitude and your mindset. And when you're walking, it's like you can think more clearly, at least I can. And when I'm walking, I tend to put on good music and that makes me feel better. A couple of days this week, I wasn't in a bad mood. It's just I came home from work and I really forget every year how completely exhausting the first week of school is. And I came home from school on Wednesday, was the first day with kids. And I sat on the couch and I thought, okay, if I sit here, I'm going to be asleep and I cannot go to bed at 4 p.m. So I have to make myself get up. So I made myself get up and go for a little walk. And it made the world of difference because it energized me. And when I got back home, I was able to get some stuff done and play with the dogs and not go to sleep at 4 p.m. I was actually able to stay awake until 10 or 10:30. So moving your body, it releases those endorphins, and you don't have to do a whole exercise program if you don't want to, but walking is really a simple thing. And they say, especially as we get older, that walking is one of the best forms of exercise for us. But the next card that came out actually tells you that you need to dance. And I will say, I went on a cruise on Virgin Voyages with my son. I also do travel agency stuff on the side because I just love to travel and I love helping people make amazing vacations. So I went on this cruise with my son and my sister and brother-in-law, and it was a cruise associated with our travel agency. And it was so fun. The very first night they had a pajama party. We all put on pajamas, went into the big dance club, and they played music all night. And I was there till 1:45 in the morning. And that is amazing for me because I am never awake that late at night. But we were dancing and just having a good time. And the DJ was playing a really good mix of music that was from my era when I was in high school and college, and music from my son's era. So we were all having a great time. It was wonderful. But dance, live in the moment, turn on your favorite song and move your body just for you. Music can shift our vibration and raise our energy. Allow your body to feel young and free and watch your energy shift. Turn on your favorite song and dance. Dance until your heart's content. The mantra that goes with this card is, I can feel freedom by shifting my reality with dance and music. And there's another freedom, right? Freedom is that word. That is what the universe wants us to feel. They want us to feel free. We are so powerful, and yet we forget. A lot of what we do can control our reality, but we forget that. Next card I love, and it's, you have survived 100% of the obstacles in your life. You've got this. Give yourself credit. You have come so far in life. Keep going. List all of the obstacles you have overcome. Claim your strength to yourself and the world. The mantra that goes with this card is, I will keep going. I was born to shine. I love that. You have survived so much, and you're going to continue to survive. But you need to look for all of the positives around you because you'll keep seeing them. And my favorite, the very last card that came out, let go, let flow. Control, for the most part, is an illusion. We can't control other people, places, or things, but we can control how we respond to them. Like that lady who yelled at me. I could not control the fact that she was being so rude, but I could control how I responded to it. What if everything that feels out of control is unfolding for your highest growth? What lesson is here for you to learn about yourself? Listen to a guided meditation for 5 minutes. Breathe. Then list all of the things you can control. Hint, you can only control yourself, your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. And the mantra that goes with this card is, I am fully supported. I can let go of worry and trust in life. I love that. Exactly. Stop wasting energy worrying about things that are out of your control. Worry about what you can control. And if you can change things, then do that. If you can't, let it go. The word is freedom. You're looking for more freedom in your life. So what can you do to start loving life again? I challenge you this week to take some time, sit with yourself, get some pen and paper, and ask yourself, what makes me feel good in my life? And what makes me feel bad? Are there things you can do and do more of in order to get more of that good feeling in life? And are there things you can eliminate? For example, let's just say that you hate cleaning. I might be talking about myself, but let's just imagine that you're the one who hates cleaning. And it's such a burden to you to have to clean every day. You have this job, you have other things you want to do, want to spend more of your energy into doing. Could you hire somebody to come in once a month to take that load off of you for a little bit? Is that in your budget? A lot of times we say to ourselves, I can't spend that money on that. Why not? I last year cut my grass on myself the whole time, and it was a pain because I have an electric lawnmower that has batteries, and the batteries die halfway through, and you have to replace them, and you have to keep charging them, and it's just a pain. So I thought to myself, Before it was like, well, I can't really afford to pay somebody to do it. And it's like, wait a minute. Yes, you can. You're just telling yourself you can't do that because you think that you're being lazy by not cutting your own grass. But there's no reason why you can't have somebody else do it. So this year I decided I'm not cutting my own grass. I paid somebody else to do it. It frees up time for me, and it's one less headache for me. And I'm employing somebody else. I give somebody else work that needs it. So why not? Where are some things in your life where you can free yourself up? The freedom, there's that word, freedom. Where can you be a little more free to do more of what brings you joy and makes you feel like life is a gift again? That's my challenge to you. All right, guys. If you like this podcast, please leave a positive review for me. Please subscribe. Please share this podcast with anyone you think might benefit. My book, Beautiful Morning, it should be out on audiobook. I keep checking every day. They told me 2 weeks. It should be out. So keep checking if you would like to order a copy of Beautiful Morning, A Guide to Life After Loss. The ebook and the physical paperback copy are available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and also Apple Books. So go check it out. If you've read it and you love it, please leave me a review. That really, really helps my book get seen. That helps me out in my mission to help as many people heal as possible. If you would like to work with me, you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. There's a link in the show notes. You can follow me on social media. I have readings that I post on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can join all of those. Also, the links are in the show notes. If you want to work with me, I do one-on-one coaching sessions. I also do readings. I do healing sessions. All of that is available on my website as well. You can book online. Well, you can purchase it online and then reach out to me. My email is in the show notes, and we will set up a time for your reading. I don't like to use those automatic calendar things because they've been messing up lately, the one that I am using for my podcasts, and I don't like them. So I'd rather just do that personally so we get the best time possible. Thank you so much for following me, for being with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I am sending you so much love and light. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.